Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. Normal grocery Karen experience becomes an arrest. Just about back in the USA in Walmart. Of course in Walmart. Did you think it was in Target or Chick-fil-A? Me and my dad were shopping for school supplies. Then while we were organizing stuff, I realized a new backpack was broken and I could not use it. So we had to go back to the store and we head over to customer service. Chapter 1. An angry lady. Me and my dad walk up to customer service to get a refund and a new backpack. Meanwhile, we see a woman yelling something about headphones and stock at the employees. My dad knows how Walmart is and just watches, as I put on my headphones and begin to watch some YouTube. Then I see the poor kid just standing there next to his mom waiting for her to stop. Only after the full encounter happened, I realized that she wanted some sort of headphones, but since they were such an expensive product that Walmart did not expect the crazy lady to want, so they were out of stock. Back to the story. The lady now throws something at the employees. I think it was a sign or something. And now my dad realizes that this is going to turn into a bad time. So we do the smart thing and start walking away, which lets the Karen notice. She now dashes over to me and my dad while we have our backs turned. She left her kid at customer service too. Chapter 2. Now it involves OP. The lady runs over and instead of trying to ask me for my headphones, annoy me or anything that involves talking, she grabs my headphone and in turn, my normal phone. She picks the phone off the floor as my dad just looks in shock. 2 men and 1 woman, all employees go to chase her down and my dad decides to follow them when the crazy lady is caught. I only hear screaming some "ows" and a lot of swear words. My dad now speeds up because he isn't 60, why would you think that? When we arrive at Karen's last site, there is 1 security guard and 1 male employee who had tackled her. She's screaming to the tip of her lungs capacity. 1 female employee comes up to my dad and asks him if these are his headphones. These headphones were so mangled that the only part you could tell that it was some headphones is a connection thing you put into your phone. Luckily, she gave me my phone and it only has minimal damage. Chapter 3. The Aftermath. We decided to leave, but we were key witnesses or something like that, so we had to wait. There I see the kid just sitting next to his mom being tackled by 2 men. When the cops arrive, everyone damaged by the lady wants to press charges. She doesn't scream or say anything, she just spits. They put her in handcuffs and put a mask over her face to prevent spit. She knocks that off, and they put one of those spit hoods over her. They take everyone's statement and it's clear that she's heading over to the plea bargains. Apparently she didn't hit any employees, she just threw that sign right next to her to show her anger or something like that. I don't really know what charges she's getting, but I think theft, disturbing the peace, and destruction of personal property. We get like $30 to pay back for the headphones, and that was that. I almost forgot the kid in this story. Poor kid. Next story. Leave me out to dry after I bring your company record profits. Let's see how that plays out for you. Backstory. Circa 2017. I worked at a small 36-room condo hotel on Marco Island, Florida. And that property was owned by a small venture capitalist firm run by 2 wealthy siblings and 1 of their sons. I was brought on board by a colleague who was hired as a general manager. Since this was a new/small operation that had pretty much zero actual industry knowledge or expertise, it was basically the general manager and myself who were responsible for bringing real changes to the property while also wearing multiple hats and doing the job of several roles with our industry experience. There was only one other office employee who was a curmudgeonly old lady. Ironically, her name was actually Karen, who basically just did the billing for unit owners and sat in the back when she could. I myself was responsible for not only the day-to-day front desk presence, phone presence, concierge presence, assigning daily housekeeping duties and running a brief night audit, but most importantly also managing the business revenue strategy/competitive set, an online room inventory with our own website, and major OTA companies like Expedia, Booking, Trivago, and so on. 2017 was a record year for us, and my revenue strategy earned the company several tens of thousands of dollars more than previous years by comparison. Then things start slowly hitting the fan quarter 2 and 3. My colleague, the GM, resigned due to personal issues completely unrelated to his work performance. That brought the office staff down to 2 people, Karen and I. Karen had this months-long trip to Italy planned like 2 years in advance, so she was going to go regardless. Karen flies out in the midst of the news that there is a bad hurricane a few days out from landfall. Cue Hurricane Irma. For those unaware of hurricane grading, Irma made landfall in the US as a Category 4. That is staggeringly powerful. For reference, Katrina, which devastated New Orleans in 2005, was also a Cat 4. Needless to say, everyone was on high alert and made plans to evacuate. During my evacuation, not on the clock or being paid by the company whatsoever, the firm's accountant called me on my personal phone asking to walk her through the steps of how to remotely run the property management system audit. With hotel computer systems, the day doesn't actually end until you tell the system that the day is over and that it's time to run reports/tally of the numbers. So if no one is there to do the audit, the hotel will permanently be stuck on a previous day. I spent about 2 hours on the phone with her while evacuating from a natural disaster, and I was never compensated for it. Irma ended up making landfall on the island I worked on, and the entire surrounding area lost power for about a week. We all turned to devastation, some of our room on the top floor having their walls and roof blown away, and slowly trying to pick the pieces back up. My hours were cut from 40 per week to about 16 per week as the damage from the hurricane drove business way down. I was beginning to struggle financially, and I was forced to use all my PTO and vacation days I had earned up to this point to keep full paychecks coming in, as I was just some single 24 to 25-year-old guy who lived alone. And the company offered absolutely zero roadmap for getting back to full-time compensation. I sent the CEO, who I spoke with every week in revenue meetings, an email explaining the situation and asking for a possible advance to make ends meet for the time being. The email I got back was basically one sentence to the effect of, "OP, we will be open again. Soon. Thanks." Bold strategy. Let's see how that plays out for you, considering I'm the literal only person running the hotel operations right now. Within a week, I secured an interview for a better paying job closer to my home, crushed the interview, and kept it completely to myself. The CEO brother had flown down to pee on property for the first day of the reopening, where business started to come back to normal. The day before the reopening, while in the office, I got a call from the HR at the new company confirming the job offer and to stop by later that day to finalize everything. I called the CFO and asked him to come down to the office because I wanted to talk. The second he got there and he asked what's up, I told him I was resigning effective immediately. He says, "OP, you realize that'll make it hard for us to open tomorrow, right?" I tell him nothing personal. Just like your company has financial concerns that prevent you from keeping your only employee here to run the hotel, I also have financial concerns that prevent me from staying here, as I have bills to pay. You'll be open again soon. Don't worry." He gritted his teeth and said, "Okay then." I handed over my key to the property, got in my car, and never looked back. Next story. My neighbor banged on the wall and called the police on me when I was out of town. This was a few years ago. I'm a male, and I was 23 when that happened. I had a very old and possibly hallucinating neighbor that would bang on my wall when I wasn't even doing anything, constantly waking me up. I would yell back, I'm sleeping, but bang, bang, bang. Tried everything, including knocking on his door and calling him. He refused to communicate, just knocked on the wall and reported me to the management for moving furniture. I was asleep, for God's sake. Which move? Cops got called, but I didn't do it. They saw a 23-year-old kid and were like, "Sure, buddy. Turn the music down." I had to prove it. I went out of town but set up a Ring camera in my door. They were on sale for like $70 and I was planning on returning it. Whenever he knocked, I had the footage. I asked my roommate to document the cops being there as well. He set up a corner for his phone and answered the door. "Hey guys, this neighbor is hearing things. OB isn't even in LA. Sorry." The tables had turned. Management was at this point telling him to stop calling the police, and he did not comply. They started showing up every day, even when I wasn't home. I left notes on the door saying he's crazy. I found the emails, and I nearly found a new place. Nope, let's give pity. I arrived home with some giant speakers, like massive, put them right up against the walls, and cued the USSR national anthem. He was old, so my thought was, he probably hates this crap. Plugged in a mic as well. I'm a musician, so I have several lying around. Turned it up to 12 past 11, and I was so excited. It was 8 p.m. I just had to wait. Knock, knock, knock. Did not have to wait. My ears were distorting. The mic feedback, the noise was insane. I stopped the music and screamed. I wasn't making any noise, but I am now. "Stop waking me up, jerk!" And no response, of course. He called one more time a few days later, but I was here for the cops this time and showed them the video Ring camera and showed them the Ring video and said he was harassing me. I don't know what happened with the cops that night, but he stopped after that. Next story. Entitled Mother Insists I'm Pregnant and Won't Let Me Have a Cup of Coffee. This was probably back when I was in high school, freshman year. For context, I was a scrawny little 13-year-old kid. But once I hit high school, I got a little chubby. By that I mean I have a pear-shaped body, and so my stomach is bigger. Now onto the story. It was a late start day. And basically what late starts is that you don't go into school until 9:30 a.m. and school starts at 10 a.m. instead of 7:50 a.m. For me at least. Anyway, I really wanted coffee since I haven't had any in so long, and it was only 8:30 a.m. once I left my house. A Dunkin' Donuts is literally right next to my school, so it was fine for me to just hang out there and do homework while I was there anyway. I got in line and ordered a large French vanilla coffee and some maple donuts. I then waited for my order to be made. And then walks in the entitled mother. She just orders her coffee or whatever, and she stood next to me. Okay, nothing too bad or weird. My order was done by the time the entitled mother was done with hers, so I grabbed my coffee and donuts and went to turn around and sit down at a booth. But before I could, I felt a hand grab my shoulder in an urgent type of way. I then turned my whole body around again and faced this woman, about to ask her what she wanted or was doing. And this was the conversation that happened. What are you doing? You can't have that." Me confused. "What do you mean I'm doing? I'm getting coffee and donuts." "You can't have that. You're pregnant." In my little freshman 14-year-old brain, I went like, What the hell is this lady talking about? And I didn't know I was pregnant. I was silent for a moment before I even answered this lady. Ma'am, I am not pregnant. She interrupts me. Yes, you are. Don't lie to me, young lady. I know a pregnant woman when I see one. She then points to my stomach. I was wearing a tight shirt and my jacket was unzipped since I get hot very easily, so I kinda understand why she thought I was pregnant. But this lady was getting on my nerves, and I was still very tired, plus I had to study for a test that was in the first hour. I then turned to explain to her that I was not pregnant, and that if I was, my parents would have murdered me. She still insisted that I was pregnant. So you know what I did? Instead of enjoying the coffee I just gotten, I looked her dead in the eyes as long as I can and drank almost half of the coffee. She looked mortified and started to screech at me how I'm a baby murderer and that coffee was not good for the fetus. I tell her, lady, I was never pregnant if you just listen to me and let me explain, but you kept interrupting me. Please leave me alone now. She tried to open her mouth to speak, but her face just turned red in either anger that she just got told off by a 14-year-old girl, or she's embarrassed that I wasn't actually pregnant. I don't know and I don't care at this point. I am tired, I'm hungry for food, and I just wanted to enjoy a peaceful morning before I went to hell. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.